Hi, you guys. It always takes a second to connect the pieces, to connect Zoom.
Hi, you guys.
Okay.
It always
Okay, I think I'm on. I'm going to mute. I should be connected via Facebook over to Zoom. Hi, Happy New Year. This is incredible that we are here together in this space. I don't take it lightly. There's so much out there right now. I mean, even I don't know if it's because I'm in the life coaching industry, but my whole news page and explore page and all things are like new year, set your goals, your intentions, all the things. And so I know it's pretty noisy out there. And I just want to say you are exactly in the right place at the right time. This is my very, very favorite workshop to do all year. I'm a sucker for a fresh start, for a clean slate. And with that said, even I'm coming to this. I did my social media post today about this. I'm coming off of like roughly 2 weeks of not really working and being in full blown mom mode and traveling and family and holidays. And the beautiful thing is, like, how I crafted and created this life, which we're going to talk about what your goals are, is that I took December off for all intents and purposes because I was able to do that. And then all of a sudden I woke up today and I said, "Oh my gosh, what is my job? What do I actually do for work?" as I come in here and present to you guys. And I want you to know that if you are coming into this January season of like, all right, I'm going to like, this is the year I do the thing. This is the year I take control of my health and lose the 20 pounds. This is the year I break through my own glass ceilings. Awesome. We are going to cover that today. And also, if you're like a little bit cynical today and you're like, oh, and like, even if you're feeling like I have a if you're curious how I work in both the very, very concrete, strategic thought model work of coaching with both life and business coaching. And then I am very much in the energetics, the woo, the like, let's honor the seasons, let's see where we're at. So if you're in the space of like, all right, this is traditionally winter, this is traditionally hibernation mode, I'm not ready for pots and pans banging, aggressive new year, new me, you're still in the right spot. You're still absolutely in the right spot. So, what exactly are we going to do over the next 3 days? And why this is different than your classic like vision board workshop, which those are fun, but I want to serve you on a deeper level and layer that's going to get you to where you want to be. We're going to take 3 days to piece it out so that you have time to digest the material. And today is fun, you guys. Like, it is January 2nd. We're all like coming in hot. I don't know if you're watching this with me live, if you are back to work, if you're catching the replay after work or on your lunch break, but we are all just getting back into it. So I want today to be light and fun and clarifying and like little like sparkly moments in your brain. And why I call this group the Life Makeover Method is that I have been a little bit about my backstory, and I'll tell you more as we go along. I've been in the personal development world. I think I went to my first Tony Robbins seminar, not even knowing who he was. I had a friend that was like, "I have an extra ticket. Do you want to go to this thing?" And I was like, "Okay, great." Not even knowing that I was like how to walk across the fire coals and like this whole thing. And that was in 2015. So we are 9 years in to this personal growth, development, improvement, all of that journey. And there have been seasons where it's been really liberating. And there's also been seasons where, much like you guys, like it's been hard. You're trucking through the mud. You're in that like dark night of the soul, as they call it, where you're just head down, miserable for 2 years. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that or if that's just me. So what I really wanted to bring, like my little stamp in this world, is that I wanted personal growth and development to be light and fun. There's so much heaviness in the world. And I wanted this to be a place of curiosity and exploration, because that, on the science side of things, is actually how you see results. That is how you hit your revenue goals. That is how you lose the 10 pounds, is by approaching things with curiosity and compassion. So today is I like to call it the Cosmo Quiz Day. I'm a product, I'll make some like 90s references. I'm a kid of the 90s. So my inspiration for this group and the marketing was, I don't know who in here has watched the movie Clueless. I think I had the VHS on repeat, but I loved that scene, maybe because I didn't grow up with a whole lot of anything, where she goes into her closet and she's got this like software system that the closet goes around and all these clothes pop up and it spits out her outfit of the day. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I wanted this to be fun, whether you're just, when I say life makeover, for some of you, you're like, all right, I got to like tweak some metrics this year. Had a lot of growth in 2023, feeling good about it. I just want to tweak a few things. Some of you are like, we need a whole new wardrobe. We've got to start over. So either way, use this for what you need it for. Another thing I really like to go into if I'm taking a training for myself, whether it's free, whether it's paid, whether it's just like a little mini course, or it's like a year-long high ticket coaching thing that I'm in, I always try to go in with a beginner's mindset. I'm very, very guilty, maybe it's the cynic in me, of coming into these groups and being like, oh, I know that. I've heard that already. I mean, like I said, I'm almost like a decade into this personal growth world. I've already heard that before. And so what I like to challenge myself and offer for you is, if I truly knew it inside and out, like if I truly was embodying it and living it and all the things, then I wouldn't need the practice, quite frankly, right? Like that's the whole mastery side of things. So try to refrain from, I already know this, I've already been exposed to this, and use this, whether you're a veteran or you're brand new to the personal growth world, use it as those little like write notes. You know, the more that you actually pen to paper, write things down, the more they will come to fruition. It works a different part of your brain than like typing or just absorbing from audio. So that's my recommendation on that front. What other kind of housekeeping things do I want to go over before we jump in? Housekeeping, there is a welcome post. So if you're watching the replay via email or YouTube or anything like that, this group is being hosted on Facebook. I know not everybody is on Facebook, but if you are, there is a welcome post. Please, please, please introduce yourself. I am not just some like talking head on the internet. I want to know your story. I want to connect with you. Same thing if you are consuming this via the replay with email or YouTube, shoot me a reply back. It goes to my personal email with me. And I would love to get to know more about you because it also helps me serve the whole group. So that's that. And because I know that, like, you know, prize incentives are really fun for everybody who comments and participates in the group or via, you know, this experience, you will be entered into, I like to give away various Starbucks gift cards so that you can cozy up, have a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, an egg white feta wrap, whatever. And so I will be giving out multiple of those each day. And then on the last day, I'm going to be introducing to you what this turns into. You know, this 3-day group, I really try to pour as much of me into my free offerings as my paid offerings. So this isn't like some discounted thing. And on day 3, I'm going to show you how you can launch off and really take this information to sustain you for the next 6 months. So I'll be introducing my program. And with that, everybody who participates, there will be an insane giveaway drawing monetarily for that group. So stay tuned to day 3, participate in all the days. You're going to get so much out of it. It's going to be fun. We're going to hang out. It's going to be fun. That's it for housekeeping. And let me just see if there's anything else I want to pull up. I'm doing this through Zoom so I can share my screen with you as well. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, I think we can dig in now. We went over the group. Yes, let's dig into what we're doing here. So whether you had an incredible 2023 or a really hard 2023 or something in between, what I would like to offer is that 2023 was perfect as it was. There, like the worst thing that you could do at this moment in time is weaponize 2023 going into 2024. So what I mean by that is it's so easy to say, shoot, I didn't hit my revenue goals. I don't want to make goals for 2024 because clearly I couldn't do it then, so I can't do it now. Same thing with nutrition, same thing with dating. I like to look at life as a whole pie puzzle. So there's some people in here that are like, I know exactly what I want for 2024. I'm a freaking boss babe. I'm making tons of money. My career is in check. but like my dating life isn't so great. So I just want to spearhead and like focus all of my energy on my dating life and seeking partnership or whatever that looks like. And what I would love to offer is, believe it or not, the whole piece, the whole puzzle is what's going to help with that one thing. And this is why I love to offer this group. It's very buzzy in my industry to say, like, you've got to niche down. You've got to only be the business coach. You've got to be the love coach. You've got to be the nutrition and weight loss coach. And I'll give you a little bit more of my background as we go. Um, and what I have found is that they're all connected. You can't be, showing up as your most magnetic, vibrant, sexy self on a first date if you're not like taking your sleep and your food and your exercise seriously. And conversely, you can't have this vibrant lifestyle where you get to take the month of December off and not pay attention to your finances. Like they all are interwoven. And there's some categories that you're going to be better at than others. And when we come together as a group, you get to see where your blind spots are. You might be really specific on this is the category I want to work on. And then you might be buzzing through our group and see somebody else mention something about their financial category and be like, oh, shoot, I didn't think about that. That's an interesting blind spot for me. So there's so much power in looking at this as a whole. Now, this process that I'm going to take you through over the next couple of days is exactly what I do to myself year after year. And I take my clients through it. I have, at this point, as a certified life and business coach, I have worked with hundreds of women with this process, and it works. I'll do the whole thing with social proof and I'll post testimonials and you'll see all that, but really it works. I can share my background if you're new to my world, or if you're not and you've heard my story a million times, you can either like tap, fast forward, or see if you can find more similarities between us than you have before. I always like to say, as I'm looking at, I always invest in the next mentor, the next course, the next thing. And I typically choose that person because I want to get to where they are. That's why I am my attention goes to them and why I invest with them. And there's this interesting point where, as we watch the people that have gone to where we want to go, it's so easy to do the compare and despair, the comparison game of, well, must be nice, or, well, that's great for her. I always like to, like, the must be nice is like the snarkiest level. I've been there. And then we graduate out of the snarky and we get into the like, well, that's great for her, but that can't be for me. And so I always like to say, look for the similarities that you have with that person and not the differences, because you wouldn't be jealous or envious if that quality wasn't already ingrained in you. I can look at a really incredible coach in the world who's making massive impact and helping people, and it like sparks all my little like, ooh, how why can't I do that, or can I do that? It sparks all of that stuff because that's in me. If I see a world renowned heart surgeon, I'm gonna be like, good on ya, that's awesome. It doesn't like do anything for me because I'm not supposed to be a heart surgeon. So keep that in mind. And as I kind of tell you about my background, because I think it's worth hearing to see where we're going to go on this journey. So growing up, oldest of 6 kids, grew up with, on food stamps, no money, the whole thing, lots of confusing money stories in my house. My dad remarried. They had a completely different financial landscape than I grew up with my mom. So just lots of conflicting money stuff, money stuff. I was a theater kid, so that translated into wanting to be an actress. I moved to LA at 18, and I realized I wasn't skinny enough or pretty enough to be an actress, and then I'd show up for auditions to be extra number 37 in a party scene, and there'd be 100 other girls that were skinnier and prettier than me. So I thought, well, that's not healthy. And I came from a family that struggled with obesity and being overweight and health issues that came from that. So I thought, all right, well, if I can crack the code on this whole learning to be skinny and pretty via going to school for nutrition, then I can help myself, I can help my family, and everything will be great. So I go to college for dietetics. And the interesting thing about that is you learn all the things. You learn all the things, except for the most important part of it, the mindset, the brain stuff that actually compels you to take action and follow through on, like, of course, we all know we have to eat our vegetables. Of course, we all know we shouldn't eat a sleeve of Oreos at midnight. Like, we all know that. But if we're not, there's a reason why we're not doing it. So I ultimately got certified in Pilates. It was the first time I was exposed to exercise where it felt good and I wasn't using it as a means to an end. It wasn't a punishment. It wasn't a, can I burn this many calories to look a certain way? I thought, wow, this is really revolutionary. So at 25, this is life lesson number whatever we're at this point. I opened up a Pilates and bar wellness studio in Charleston, South Carolina. And I say that because if you're kind of like taking little tidbits as I'm chatting, I'd like to say that our greatest moments in life, our greatest like achievements are usually because we just didn't know any better. I didn't know that that was a big deal at 25. I just thought, all right, I'm going to keep doing the next thing. Made myself a little Excel spreadsheet on how much everything costs. I embarrassingly went into banks and asked for a commercial business loan and was so very much turned down, appropriately so, as a 25-year-old with no collateral. But it came together. And then for the next 4 years, I built it. I built a community, the whole thing. At that point in time, I meet the love of my life, where all the stars are written, like the soulmate stuff. And we move across the country to San Diego, California. I sell my business, I sell that studio for over 6 figures, which, if you heard earlier, I was a kid who grew up on food stamps. So if this was the most amount of money I had ever seen in my life, I thought I was going to be like Oprah rich forever. We touched down in San Diego, California, where my then husband was an attorney. I thought, all right, we're living the dream. We're going to start a family. And I knew I didn't want to open another brick and mortar, but I still wanted to be in this wellness space. I really felt like this was my lane. So I was looking for things to do online. I was I was failing at online business after online business. And at the same time, there was a lot of really, really unhealthy things happening at home. That soulmate marriage situation was imploding on the daily. I had a spouse that was severely, severely impacted by mental health, by addiction, by not working. And all of the sudden, that 6-figure windfall was gone in 6 months because addiction is expensive. And I found myself a year later at the proverbial rock bottom, as they say. And I got connected with a direct sales wellness business. And I thought, screw it. I don't know any better. What do I have to lose? And I went all in on that direct sales health and wellness coaching business for the next 6 years, I think. And I did well. And I did well for a couple reasons. So this might be another kind of jumping off point for you. The reason that I have done well in things in life are I have been teachable. I knew nothing about sales. I didn't even like it, quite frankly. I didn't want to tell people I was doing direct sales. I didn't want any of that. But I was teachable. I joined a team where they were doing really well. So find the people that are doing well. And I said, what are you doing? And they gave me the roadmap, and I literally followed every single step on that piece of paper on how to work that business. That's it. The other component of what I did and why I had success is I literally kept my eyes tunnel vision with the people that had the things that I want, that were having success, that had beautiful marriages, that were prioritizing their wellness over like binge drinking every weekend or whatever it may be. So I kept my eyes on that little huddle of community of people, and it took off. So be teachable, find your people is the moral of that story. In 2020, we're fast forwarding, in 2020, I got certified in coaching, in life coaching, not to be a life coach. I honestly thought that it was just another tool in my toolbox to be able to serve my direct sales team. We had revenue goals and volume goals. And I thought if I could have more tools to serve them as a whole, we would all do better. And as any business that really expanded during COVID and the pandemic years, which mine did, I was literally selling at-home fitness when everybody was at home. And I was selling a side hustle where you could earn income from home where everybody was at home. So I did really well in 2020 to 2021. And then the world reopened. The world reopened, and people did not want to be home anymore. They wanted to go to SoulCycle. They didn't need a side hustle. And very quickly, my income and my livelihood started plummeting. And the business that had enriched my soul for so many years, to no fault of its own, had kind of served its course. I'd done all the things. I'd gotten the accolades. I was in this like stagnant growth area that wasn't serving me. So I had to pivot. Other things to mention, that unhealthy marriage, I ultimately stepped away from, found the tools and the community and the healing that I think is really what sets me up to work with other women in that season, whether you are looking to grow in your marriage or if you do need to separate. Like that has all been a big piece of some of the stuff that we work on. I have since then, if we're talking about what we're doing in this group and why it's worked, since then met the love of my life, the partner in crime, my baby daddy. As someone who struggled with infertility in my first marriage, I believe that like the more, not just that, I don't know how to say this. Like I do believe there are moments of like divine and the universe has your back, and like I also think it wants us to show up and realize that we are worthy of it before we have those little miracle moments. So, it's easy to just say, oh, I wasn't with the right person, which is why we didn't get pregnant. And now I am with the right person. And it's like a little God wink that we just immediately got pregnant with twins on the first try naturally. But there's a big like growth curve in between those two pieces of leaning into those healing moments, of leaning into hard conversations, of leaning in to the little things each day. I think Glennon Doyle says, good luck shows up the harder you work. So that all transpired. At the time of this recording, our little 20s are about to turn 2, and it has been a wild, wild ride over the past 9 years. Okay. So that's my story. That's my story on failed marriages, failed businesses, failed finances, debt. What else is in there? Going from literally eating iceberg lettuce salads and binge eating brownies and ice cream every night, being 30 pounds heavier than I am, to each year that goes on, I'm 38 presently, getting in better shape, more vibrancy. It like doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense with the tools. So all of that to say, you can go from here to there. You can absolutely go from here to there, whether it's little or big. So this exercise that I like to say will ultimately by day 3, so you know what you're getting, by day 3, you will have a very clear idea of exactly the 3 biggest goals, intentions, manifestations that you want to happen in 2024. And the reason it's 3 is that's really, or maybe it's 2, but let's just say 2 to 3. That's what your brain can conceptualize. When we make a long laundry list of things, we're too scattered in our focus. So I like to, when I work with clients, whether it's for a long period of time or a short period of time, I like to have 2 things going. I like to have our big, grand life vision, which is what we're doing in this group, which is great. That's the thing where you're like, I see myself living in my dream home, and it has 3 bedrooms and a fenced in yard and lots of light. And it's got like this detached space, like you can do the whole big thing. But if that's not where you are present day, it can be really discouraging because you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there. Let's just pick a finite thing. Let's pick a revenue goal. Let's say you're like, I desire to have $1 million in the bank. That's our big grand vision. I am not here to say Like I will believe that for you until the cows come home. I absolutely will. I am not here to discredit that. I think anybody can make $1 million. And with that, your brain's only going to get on board with about double what you're currently producing. So let's say you're making $50,000 a year. And if you say, I want to be a millionaire, your brain's gonna be like, girl, what? Like, it's not going to know how to connect the dots. So what we'll do from that piece is you'll know exactly how to get to 75,000, to 100,000, and so on and so on and so on until it ultimately equals your dream goal result. Okay. So with this, our big grand vision, we have to take stock of where we actually are today. Where we are today and how I'm going to do this. You guys do have, it's so funny. I listen on so many things and the coaches are like, don't give people homework because they're not going to do it. I don't know how to not do that because I do think that this is like such a sweet space for you to have reflection and hopefully it should be a joy. Today's day one, it won't take very long. Like I said, this is our Cosmo quiz day. Tomorrow's is a little more in depth, but today it's just an assessment. So I'm going to share with you 4 resources in this little Google Drive folder. I'll post it to our group or it'll come to you via email if you're doing it that way. And you get to just go through and answer questions. That's it. You don't have to figure out who your dream boat is today. You don't have to figure out how much weight you're supposed to lose. We're not doing that today. Today we're taking stock. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, this is where I want to be. Also, I'm doing this via Zoom, so if there are comments in the Facebook group, I will answer them as soon as I get off because I can't see that screen. Share. Okay, perfect. Here we go. Okay, so here are your resources, and we're going to do them in order because there's something really magical about starting with the good. So step 1 is uncover. I always like to give credit where it's due. I feel like nothing in this industry, I don't want to say it's not an original thought, but everybody has said it 8 different ways. There's really incredible what I'm offering to you in this 3 days is I have literally, y'all, spent thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars on mentors and coaches, the greatest of the great, Tony Robbins, Darren Hardy, Brendan Burchard, gosh, the list goes on, Gabby Bernstein, like all the people. And I am taking all of the best mind gold nuggets from them and presenting them to you today in a concise fashion because you do not have the thousands of hours or thousands of dollars probably to go and do all of that over the course of 9 years. All right, so day 1, this is from Darren Hardy. This is really uncovering what this past year has shown you and given to you. You're going to write down your greatest happenings. I recommend doing 10. Your top 3 accomplishments in 2023. You can print this out. You can also just, if you're somebody who already has like a journal going, you can just scribble it into a journal. Either way is fine. It's available for you either way. Top 3 lessons. Still uncovering, you're going to do the greatest influences on you, whether they're people, products, educations, locations, things that have just really had an impact on you this past year. 3 things I need to do less of next year, 3 things I need to do more of next year, 3 things I need to stop doing all together next year. Okay, so that's step 1. You're going to fill that out. Step 2 is this fun life assessment. You're literally just going to go through, circle them, tally up your score. This is what I was talking about, though, in terms of it being the big picture, the whole life wheel of the pie pieces. So we are going to evaluate our relationships in our family. We're going to evaluate physical health. And what I love about these questions is a lot of times when we think about our physical health, we're like, am I weighing what I want to weigh? Do I work out? And really, it's a little bit more than that. Like, are you spending time outside? Are you drinking water? Are you having too much caffeine? Are you getting good sleep? Like, all of that plays into our physical health. Fun fact, your mood, if you are like, I'm always in a bad mood, not to say, anxiety and depression aren't real things, but when it comes to your mood, it is dictated by the last 72 hours of what you have ate how much you have slept, and who you have been around. So two of those factors are in this physical category. Your business, this also, I think this translates to whether you are an employee, you are self-employed. This also, applies to being a full-time stay-at-home parent. That is in there as well. This is like what you do as your meaningful pursuit, your business. Financial, this is also great because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and a lot of times we think business and financial are the same. We think our revenue goals are our actual our finances. And so this actually has to do with your personal finances. So those have some helpful questions. Spiritual, this may or may not be important to you, but you're going to take stock. And the nice thing too is like some of these categories might hold a lot more weight to you than others. So just good things to observe and take notes on. Mental health, it's pretty self-explanatory. And then the last one is lifestyle. And this is where, if you want to take this a step forward, and if you are a journaling person, the question that I think always stops me dead in my tracks, if I'm like, I don't know what I want, I don't know what I want, is if time and money were of no object, how would you design your life? How would you design your life? For me, I want to make multiple six figures working part-time hours because I want to be a mom in those other hours. And I want to be able to have really fun adventures with my family and my friends and travel and experience different cultures and different languages and all of the things that are tied up in that. And that's super important to me. So that plays into some of my lifestyle goals. The other thing that's not on here, because you'll realize when we get to step 3, you're going to fill out this little life wheel here. Ta-da, ta-da. You'll realize here that there's a category about time, and there is not a questionnaire part of it. You're not doing anything wrong. There's not a time section with that actual questionnaire. But I wanted to put that on here. And I would say just use your best judgment, meaning questions that you can ask yourself are like, am I in control of my calendar, or is my calendar in control of me? Am I someone who is always 5 to 10 minutes late and I just say I'm a hot mess and it is what it is? Am I conscientious of the commitments that I am going to follow through on with others? So that's kind of where you want to gauge yourself and just give yourself a score accordingly on that one. Okay. Now, as we're starting to get clear on what we do and don't want before we get into tomorrow's vision casting, goal setting, yada, yada, sometimes we don't know what we want. Like sometimes you're like, well, that must be nice for those people who have known since they were 4 that they want to be an astronaut and they turn into an astronaut, or whatever it is. But what I like to offer in this scenario is, so often we might not know what we want, but I guarantee you know what you don't want. So this little worksheet is for the person who doesn't necessarily know what they want. They're kind of unclear, but they definitely know what they don't want. So there's going to be a blank space for you to actually go in and fill out that you can print out. You'll write down things I don't want or like, things I do. And I'll give you some examples because I always learn best from examples personally. So as you're filling this out, maybe these are statements that you have said to yourself. I hate living paycheck to paycheck. So that if we're thinking of the opposite, it's I have 50K in the bank saved. I'll never get out of debt. It feels incredible to be debt free. This is something else I want to talk about here, something where it says other helpful vocabulary. Maybe your brain is like, oh, I can say it feels incredible to be debt free, but I do not believe that for a second. I am not buying that. I'm not buying my own BS. So if that's the case, I love bridge thoughts. This is why, like positive affirmations don't work, because if you're like, I'm a millionaire, and you're not, then positive affirmations don't work. But I love these. I'm willing to believe I can be debt free. I'm excited knowing that this is the year I take control of my debt. I'm working on it. Like, these are things your brain can believe you. You want your brain to believe you, because that's how you make forward progress. It's possible that I'm in the process of, I'm a person who, I'm becoming, I'm open to thinking, I love knowing, I'm committed to. So these are other helpful vocabulary that you can use as you're filling this out for yourself. Other areas of life, so we talked about money here. let's talk about sex, right? I don't know. So there's two, whether you are single, dating, long-term marriage, sexuality is such a beautiful expression of it's the original creation. In my mastermind, we're going to do a whole month on sex because it's that important. It's that important to how you manifest, the energy you put out into the world. I, as someone who has gone through periods of being like, oh, I'm just phoning it in, or like, I had twins for Christ's sakes last year, and I'm running a business. That's not a very sexy time. And I made it my mission last year to rewrite the script on that. And it's something I'm so excited to share with you guys. So our sex life is so vanilla can turn into our sex life is so spicy. My kids only care about their iPads to the quality time I spend with my kids is impactful, present, and full of joy. I'm bored at work, but it pays the bills. I'm in a career that aligns by serving with my best gifts. We're too busy to travel. I'm in charge of the priorities of my schedule. I'm addicted to caffeine and still feel exhausted all the time. I have boundless, vibrant energy. And then finally, I guess I'll always be this fat. I am capable of making nutrition choices that support a healthy goal weight. So I want you to just word vomit all the yuck, all the ick in all the categories, all the things you feel about how horrible your life is or how you're not getting to where you want to be. And then you're going to flip the script. And that's it. That's it for today. You're going to take the quiz, word vomit. In all honesty, this maybe takes you 15 minutes. I would speculate. These 4 documents will be there. I'll post in our group so that you can share some of your findings if you feel comfortable doing so. I think I can stop my share now. Otherwise, what you can expect from day 2 and day 3 is we're going to come back tomorrow. There will actually be a guided meditation tomorrow. So you're going to want to, if you can, find about 10 minutes to carve away. It's guided, so you don't have to like sit there and stare at the wall. I'm going to talk you through some things. I always recommend, like if you have AirPods or earphones or something, it's always kind of helpful. So you're going to carve that time away, and then there's going to be a prompt on how we do actually craft this big, beautiful vision for your life. So tomorrow's our dreamy day. Get in the space where you can let go of all constraints, all limitations that you might be putting on yourself. And then day 3, I'm going to tell you how to ground it. How you're like, oh, that's great. I have all these pie in the sky goals. Day 3 is how you actually achieve those goals. And it's freaking awesome. It's awesome. And then, like I said, as we go on, I'll be kind of sprinkling in what this looks like long-term with my incredible program. I'll post some stuff in our group as it's relevant. And please, please, please connect, reach out, find me on Instagram, Facebook, all the places, and we'll go from there. Have a beautiful rest of your day.